I'm going to start here with Amanda Fisher.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Fisher, and I am with the Office of Senator Melissa Melendez, and I'm also a Gold Star wife.
Thank you, Amanda. Next up is Ann Peterson.
Hi, everyone. Ann Peterson with Stromso Insurance. I am an Air National Guard member for the last 14 years, and I've been selling business insurance for the past 5 years.
Thank you, Ann. Next up is Chandra Wilson.
Hello, everybody. I am coming out of March Air Reserve Base. I work for Brigadier General Coburn, the Wing Commander, and I'm also retired Air Force.
Thank you, Chandra. Next up is Eddie's iPhone.
Hey, good afternoon. Eddie Marin with Modern Lending, also retired Marine Corps First Sergeant.
Thank you, Eddie. Great to have you. Next up is Greg Thomas.
Greg Thomas, General Manager of Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District and a retired Marine.
Thank you, sir. Next up is Hilda Sham.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all here today. I'm Hilda, and I am your MAC representative along with Mike.
Thank you, Hilda. Next up is Jason Polite.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Jason Polite. I'm also a retired Marine, and now I work with the Resilience Building Leader Program, which is the credentialing body for a series of leadership certifications.
Thank you, Jason. Great to have you.
Happy to be here.
Next up is John J.J. Gimlin.
Hey, good morning all, or good afternoon all, I guess. J.J. Gamlin. So I am the Deputy Director for Government and External Affairs for Marine Corps' Western Region here at Camp Pendleton, also a retired Marine.
Thank you, JJ. Great to have you. Great to see you. Next up is Josh Smith.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua Smith. I work with a local credit union, Altura Credit Union. Thank you.
Thank you, so. Next up is Kimberly Nieblo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim. I'm the Business Relation Coordinator at the Marietta Wildemar Chamber.
Thank you very much, Kim. Next up is Kirk Effinger.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kirk Effinger with, I'm a broker associate with Windermere Homes and Estates and a Vietnam era Air Force veteran.
Thank you, Kirk. Great to have you. Next up will be next month's presenter, Mr. Maurice Wilson.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Maurice Wilson here from San Diego. I'm with the National Veterans Transition Services, as well as the San Diego Veterans Coalition. Good to be here.
Great to have you, Maurice. Next up is Michelle Tapscott.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Tapscott. I'm the new Public Affairs Community Engagement Chief at March ARB, and I am also a traditional reservist there as well.
Excellent. Great to have you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. All right, next up is Miguel Aranda.
Hi, Miguel Aranda from Brandon University. We have been serving veterans in active duty since 1958 out of Chapman University. Go to our website and you'll see our new partnership with the University of Massachusetts system. Some very exciting news for everybody. And we look forward to just this beautiful weather continuing and not getting hotter.
Weather unlike UMass. Love it. Great to have you, Miguel. Next up is Noel Cahuto.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noel Cahuto, and my wife and I owns Caring Transitions of Menifee. Primarily helps seniors move and as well conduct state liquidation. I'm retired Navy, so ahoy, everybody.
Love it. Great to have you, Noel. Next up is fearless leader Patrick Ellis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Patrick Ellis, President and CEO of the Marietta Wildemar Chamber of Commerce, also President and CEO of Impact Southwest Riverside County. Glad to see you all today. Glad to be here.
Thank you, boss. Next up is Raven Hilden.
Hello, everybody. Raven here with milvet.org, Military and Veterans Support Services. We support our veterans here at home and our deployed troops all over the world.
Thank you, Raven. Great to have you. Next up is Roger Kessler.
Sorry about that. I couldn't get my unmute going. So I'm Roger Kessler with Empower Street Financial to set up executive benefit plans and help veterans and others with their life insurance needs.
Thank you, Roger. Next up is Troy Clarke, our presenter today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Troy Clarke with the Naval Surface Warfare Center in Norco and director of the Inland Empire Tech Bridge. Good to be with you.
Great to have you. Looking forward to your presentation today. Next up is Valerie Backus.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Valerie from the Murrieta Valley Unified School District, and I was speaking with Hilder about some opportunities that are probably unknown for education for those who are in the military and seeking another career. So she invited me to participate and listen in, and I'm excited to learn more.
Excellent. And I believe I skipped Sergio De La Garza.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sergio De La Garza, Air Force vet with the Employment Development Department on the Business Solutions team.
Great to have you, Sergio. And also thank you so much for being a panelist for our hiring panel that went oh so very well in the beginning of this month. So I appreciate you so much and everything that you do. Love it. So with that, let's get underway. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so we can see the agenda. And it is working. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and have the base updates. So to start, I would believe I'd be calling on Michelle for the March Air Reserve base update, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Take us away.
So heading into next month, we are heading into a big exercise. And for the ends of the year, we are hoping to open back up the civic leader flights, depending on if it's allowed by then. And also the air show has been moved to April of 2022. That's all I have on my end.
Thank you, Michelle. I very much look forward to getting back to that air show. That
Me too.
Quintessentially great time. I love it. Thank you so very much.
No problem. Thank you.
And next up from the from our Camp Pendleton, from our Southern friends, JJ, would you take us away?
Yeah, so very quickly, two items. One is you'll probably hear the sound of freedom this weekend as we have a artillery exercise going on aboard Camp Pendleton. So may feel the ground shake a little bit and hear some good thunder on Saturday and Sunday. And then lastly, our commanding general will be departing this summer. And he's actually going to elevate to take over Marine Corps Installations Command that's responsible for all our installations worldwide. And the incoming commanding general is actually a former commander for Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. So we're trying to keep it in the family here. So he's relatively familiar with West Coast and how installations run. So those are pretty much the two key pieces that I'd offer up for today's meeting.
Excellent. Thank you, JJ, as always. And I would like to remind you all, especially when it comes to the boom reports, the PA for Camp Pendleton is really good about sharing the noise reports for Camp Pendleton. So you can always refer to the Southwest Riverside County Military Affairs Committee Facebook page for those upcoming events. So JJ, as always, I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for the update from our Southern installation. So with that, it is before I move on, does anyone have any questions for our base representatives? Feel free to just jump in. No need to drop it in the chat there. All right, forever hold your peace. I know you guys are very excited for our presenter today. So with that, it is my honor to introduce our presenter. But before we do that, I'd like to thank our local military supporters who have helped this endeavor find a foundation, momentum, and traction as quickly as it has. So I'd be remiss without thanking them, and those are Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, Temecula Valley Hospital, Modern Lending, as well as State Farm Julie Mill Agency. So I want to thank them for being a believer in our local military community, as well as being very active in supporting our endeavors here of bringing these great resources, and most importantly, shedding light on some of these great resources that are available to the folks locally that have served. Just to quote a really fabulous thing that Sergio specifically said recently is that there is a plethora of resources, but most times they lack the marketing mechanism. So we're proud to be the conduit, the convener for the military community here on our local area. So on that note, it is absolutely positively my honor. Let me go ahead and pass the screen sharing ability to our presenter here. And Hilder, Troy is also a host, correct?
Yes, it looks like it.
Excellent. So
You should be able to share.
Troy Clarke is the director of your Inland Empire Tech Bridge, as well as strategic advisor for the Naval Surface Warfare Center Corona Division. So Troy, very excited to have you here today. Looking forward to your presentation. Take us away.
Well, thank you. Great to be here and with you again and let you know what's going on with our Inland Empire Tech Bridge. So for those who don't know, in February of 2019, the Navy created the Naval Agility Office in an effort to accelerate a lot of the innovation that we're trying to get in the hands of warfighters to keep pace with our emerging threat, chiefly China. And the Navy has really a huge repository across the Navy and Marine Corps Research and Development Network. You'll see all the commands that are listed there. Those are they comprise 16 warfare centers across the surface, undersea, naval facilities, and the information domain. And really, we do about $360 million each year in small business innovative research grants, and then execute about $20 billion in R&D every year for our Navy and Marine Corps. We've got all those warfare centers around the country. We've got 2,000 PhDs in our network. We've got a number of the warfare centers here in Southern California, down in San Diego, us in Norco, Port Hueneme, and really we're the brain trust for the Navy and Marine Corps. Each tech bridge in September of 2019, Secretary of the Navy, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Gertz, established the tech bridges as an off-base location to really be that bridge from the Navy scientists and engineers and the non-traditional partners out of the community, such as small businesses, entrepreneurs, startups, academia, nonprofits, venture capital, funds, and really to improve that relationship and to be a super connector, connecting us with our programs, our requirements, our end users, the sailors and Marines, and really want to create a facility that's in the community so they can collaborate with naval scientists and engineers and potentially even our facilities on base as a federal lab. And really to just foster that innovative collective and the collision of ideas where we can all start addressing technical challenges and try and leverage what's going on with the innovation in the industrial space. So these are physical spaces, and you'll see Secretary Gertz, when he created the tech bridges for the Navy, he already had a track record with the Special Operations Command in Tampa. He was the Deputy Acquisition Chief there and started the concept called SoftWorks. You can kind of think of it as a skunk works where you can tinker and invent and create. And so you'll see some pictures there. In the upper right is the inside of the SoftWorks building. You'll see it's kind of an industrial space, but they can be open spaces where you can have technology demonstration days. You can have pitch days. You can have venture capital panels and forums for discussion. You also have maker spaces, prototyping spaces there on the right where you might have a 3D printer, you've got a lathe, you've got welding machines where you can construct your prototypes, and then areas where you can demonstrate that. You also have, like in the lower left, you have opportunities where you can have like lecture type settings. There in the middle, bottom right, that's our Naval X headquarters tech bridge there, and you'll see a bunch of admirals there meeting with the strategic offsite with Secretary Gertz. And then another view there to the right shows you kind of the reconfigurable office space. So you have that flexibility over time to hold, networking receptions and presentations. We've got a number of collaborative work conference rooms, where you can house 8 to 10 people with whiteboards and collaboration to provide that opportunity to collaborate. We've got a couple models I want to step through around the country that have worked. One is the Central Florida Tech Bridge in Orlando, which is the home of modeling and simulation for the world. We've got a number of all services are down there: Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and the Department of Homeland Security. And that's really the downtown Disney of modeling and simulation. And so you have a number of the collaboration between the services as they look to adapt modeling and simulation to train in their own requirements. But Orlando and the state of Florida have also sought to exploit this synergy between all these services and other federal agencies as a way to really stimulate the innovation economy and grow companies and startups that can help in the innovation space to help help the services there. And so they are actually located on a campus that is a former naval hospital. It happens to be adjacent to the University of Central Florida, which is there to the upper part of the diagram. And what the state of Florida did several years ago, I would say it was at the beginning of 2000s, as a BRAC strategy, is they started erecting buildings adjacent to where these military commands were to both house those military commands in leased office space, but also create this kind of collaborative ecosystem between the University of Central Florida, the military services, and now with Tech Bridge, that's where it's going to be located. It will be in the Partnership 4 building there in the lower right. And then on the left, they like to say geography matters, so that you have all these services kind of co-located that really creates this innovation ecosystem where they can leverage that, working with academia to generate new knowledge, new research, that it could be help to transition innovative technology into the hands of warfighters, but then also commercialize that by transferring that technology out to the private sector. Another example is in Albuquerque, which is the economic engine of New Mexico. They wanted to do something similar. There are a number of federal labs that are there in New Mexico. And so they created a building called it's a district called Innovate ABQ, and then a building called the Lobo Rainforest. And you'll see that there. And it's a multi-story building. What they have done is created office space that can be used as a collaboration facility. Various the federal labs like the Sandia National Lab, Los Alamos National Lab, and others have space in there where they can do their community outreach efforts, like their technology transfer, small business outreach, so that's easier to access the populations they need to when they're at off-base location. And then General Atomics has space there. And then that particular model is everybody that rents space provides and kind of subsidizes the common collaboration space where everybody can use for these innovation activities. The upper floors are actually residential apartments for the University of New Mexico. They've partnered with the Navajo Nation, who provides scholarships for their students to actually reside there while they're attending the university. And they've designed that building so there's food and beverage there. There's the office space. The residents have their apartments there. And really to create this interesting innovation space where everybody can start working together. Some of the collaborative activities are really the business accelerators and startups, rentable co-working spaces. So these small companies can rent space where they can, as they're fledgling along, can work and develop the technology that they're working on, and then partner with the federal labs like the Air Force Research Lab, Sandia, and Los Alamos. They also have in their academic partners the University of New Mexico, New Mexico Tech, College of New Mexico at the community college level, all there really providing those resources for these upstart companies. And their vision really for that building is to the district Innovate ABQ is going to be that hub for research and innovation, and it's located in downtown Albuquerque. And then the Lobo Rainforest building is the nucleus for that, and at the heart of the Albuquerque's innovation district. Here's another view. You'll see it kind of acts as that bridge between University of New Mexico in the upper part, and then downtown Albuquerque in the lower part, and then Innovate ABQ district is right there in the center. So the first tech bridges were announced in September of 2019, and then in seeking to expand that, the Navy doubled that to there were 5 initially, then an additional one added a couple months later, and then doubled that to 12 in May of 2020, last year. So we're all around the country, where each is anchored to a naval command, you'll notice that we have 15 total, stretching from London, which are with our Office of Naval Research global partners there, and then stretching all the way to Hawaii in Honolulu. You'll notice that we have 4 in California, which is the state that has the most tech bridges. And then they're, as I mentioned before, they're anchored to each naval command, primarily warfare centers around the country. We are highly collaborative with each other. As I mentioned before, the intention for tech bridges is really to be that super connector, both off base, but also within the Department of the Navy. So within the Navy and Marine Corps. So if you connect with one of us, you connect with all. And each tech bridge has a focus area based on what the mission of their Navy command is. And so we have certain things that we're focusing on. And so, for example, if somebody in the Inland Empire is interested in something that the Northwest Tech Bridges focus on, we're going to immediately, connect them with that group and our fellow directors so they can get where they need to go. The Zoom is really messing up this display, but basically it's an upward arc showing the stages of where we are. And right now we're in the connecting phase. We prior to 2020, when the Naval X headquarters team visited us, we had already been in development of this kind of concept of a tech bridge ever since we were designated a federal laboratory in 2011. Or 2010, I believe. Yes, 2010. And then we launched it in May 12th of 2020, as I mentioned before. And primarily, since we're located in Norco, our primary sphere of influence has been, Corona, Norco, Eastvale, Riverside, Lake Elsinore, Temecula, Murrieta. But as part of the Inland Empire, we're also working on the San Bernardino County side. So we've been making those presentations and working across the county lines since that's the region we serve. Something of note, the Inland Empire is larger than 25 states by population and larger than about 11 states by geography. We're 27,000 square miles. So our tech bridge in the Inland Empire serves probably the largest population and geographic area of any of the tech bridge in the network. So in the coming years, we're going to be working to reinforce that network, and then ultimately we've got to create a sustainable business model. The Navy's providing some seed capital for us, so about $1 million to help us outfit the tech bridge and provide those resources needed to launch it, and then about $1.25 million in technical prize challenges. But ultimately, we have to create that sustainable business model in 2 to 3 years. So that involves creating a partnership with the local community and the various partners, either with academia, economic development agencies, economic development corporations, and the various groups to try and make a model work. And right now, what we're thinking of is we can contribute some if we have another partner that has a similar aligned mission. They could partner in with us, and then perhaps we could have a co-working space model where we could have these startups rent the facility as they develop their technology and mature, and then perhaps from that we could expand and scale that it becomes kind of self-sustaining with the co-working space. Another option could be if we could as a community seek grants from the Economic Development Administration to say either build a building or acquire property. which is kind of how it was done in Albuquerque. The Economic Development Administration provided a $2.3 million grant. A local credit union provided a $3 million grant. And then the developer built that building with an exclusive 30-year lease for all those partners that are leasing space and renting space there. And then ultimately it reverts, after the 30 years, it reverts back to the property of the University of New Mexico. So that's a successful model that we could look at. Also, our Northeast Tech Bridge in Newport, Rhode Island, they also received, I think received $7 million in funding, $1 million from the Navy, $2.3 million from Economic Development Administration, and then some other granting agencies and from the state that are really looking to have Rhode Island be an innovation hub in the Northeast corridor. So here are some of the partners that we've connected with so far. Definitely on the congressional side, strong support from Congressman Calvert, Senator Feinstein's office, State Senator Roth, Supervisor Karen Spiegel. We've been working with the Riverside County, the various and the workforce development boards, both the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which is very important to us, an important mission of the Department of Commerce and the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They're going to be a key partner for us. And really, we want to make sure from a national perspective that our defense industrial base and manufacturing base is solid and strong and cyber secure and protected from adversarial capital and meddling from our competitors in the international space. We're also connecting, of course, with our business resources, our chambers of commerce, the startup incubators and small business development centers at UC Riverside, and then the various economic development offices, both at Riverside Community College District and with the county. And then connecting with our academic partners. Many of these we've had long-standing relationships and formal partnerships as we work with to have internships for their students. We work to hire their graduates. But we're connected. We've got all the major research universities connected. So we've got UC Riverside to our east. We've got Cal State San Bernardino to our northeast. We've got Cal Poly Pomona to our northwest. We've got Claremont Graduate University to our northwest. And then we're connected to all the community colleges in the Inland Empire and Desert region. And then even down to our K-12 with the Science and Technology Education Partnership, and then the Riverside County Office of Education. We're working on the other side of the county as well to bring in that, to make it truly the two-county Inland Empire. As I mentioned, we have focus areas, but my vision really is for the Tech Bridge to be that catalyst for our region to develop as a nationally recognized innovation hub and a driver for the region's technology-based economic development efforts. There are a number of initiatives at the federal level, both on the executive branch and on the congressional side, that because of the threats that we face, both militarily and economically in the technology area, that we're going to invest heavily in innovation and strengthening our country's capability there to make sure that we stay ahead. And so there's something in Congress right now that's the Endless Frontier Act was introduced last year. I just saw that from a newsletter. It looks like it's going to be passed this year. And that's going to provide $100 billion in funding to stimulate innovation. They want to create regional innovation hubs and designate those hubs and give them $1 billion to really excel in 10 focus areas. So I think we could position our Inland Empire as maybe a receiver of one of those innovation hubs. As a Tech Bridge, our focus areas are based off our mission at Naval Surface Warfare Center Corona. We're at the crossroads of a lot of the Navy's performance and readiness data. So data analytics and visualization are a key area for us. We're the engine behind the Navy and Marine Corps Tactical Training Network, the engine behind Top Gun. And while that used to be a lot of live training, it's now morphed into live, virtual, and constructive. So like what's going on in Orlando, Team Orlando, with that's the virtual piece. And then the constructive piece is where your computers are generating potential friends or foe. And then what we do is we integrate that into one live virtual constructive environment so it looks seamless. That requires a lot of data. And so we're focusing on networks data environments. And then we're the measurement science and calibration agent for the Navy. So we are heavily involved in measurement technology, and especially with emerging weapon systems like high energy lasers. We have a high energy laser lab. And so we work closely with the NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, that maintains our national standards on developing that new technology. And then some key initiatives that we're working on right now are and this is perfect because advanced communication is one of the 5 industries of the future. So as part of our networked data environments, we're working on advanced and secure mobile telecommunications and automatic speech recognition of those tactical environments. So the audio coming through tactical environments. And then from some of the data analytics and visualization tools, working on the DevSecOps, which is a software development environment, but in a cross domain for us, and then integrating those data analytics and automation into our technical and business domains. So not only on a technical, how do we do that better, but how do we fuse that with business data so you can make informed data-driven decisions to increase performance. And then, as I mentioned before, you measure a lot of and maintain and provide a lot of the Navy's readiness and performance data. So we've been focusing on ship maintenance data analytics, and then predictive maintenance. How can we optimize our supply chain to make sure our ships are when they're in dry dock or docked for maintenance or import, that it's optimized and we can get them back out on time, back into the fleet, which can have by having more fleet deployed and not in maintenance, we really dramatically expanded the number of ships that we have available. So it's essentially by optimizing our maintenance activity, we can essentially expand the number of our fleet. And then related to the measurement science, we're into quantum metrology. So working on how to kind of embed calibration into hardware so we don't have to calibrate it, and coming up with those intrinsic standards. So it's either calibrated or it's not calibrated. It's not within tolerance, and come back and see us in 18 months kind of thing. So that will generate a lot of efficiencies in the maintenance of our Navy and Marine Corps. So what does success look like for us? Well, definitely it's a collision space where we can work on problems collectively. We kind of create that little innovation hub out in the community. Because our region is so big, I do see that we're going to have really a node of little tech bridges, of Inland Empire tech bridges around the Inland Empire. So down in the Temecula-Murrieta area, while we may have the main one, in Norco, we're going to have need to have a node down the Temecula South County, then over at UC Riverside, I'm sure, and then in Cal State San Bernardino or in San Bernardino associated with them. Then Claremont Graduate University wants one. Eastvale wants one. And then we're probably going to have one down in the Coachella Valley because UC Riverside has campuses and Cal State has campuses down there. So if one good thing came from COVID is that we have learned how to network virtually. So once we get back into a physical meeting, we'll definitely have plans and programs in the tech bridges. But if we could connect our nodes instead of commuting, we could connect virtually and link everybody in. And just like you're there, it saves people all that commute. But there's certainly value of having everybody physically in the same space. There's good, opportunities there as well. And perhaps we could even have different nodes host various events throughout the year. But it also allows us the flexibility as each geographic area has a little bit different focus in innovation and tech. Like, there's a lot of medical technology down in the South County area. You have a lot of clean technology in the Riverside and the Coachella Valley area. And so we can, each node is going to provide a little bit of localized flavor for their immediate community. So success also involves increasing the amount of small business innovative research awards that are coming into the Inland Empire companies. So the Small Business Innovative Research program is created by Congress for us to stimulate small business. The federal government gives them challenges where we need innovative solutions. It's a 3-phase program where they get to propose ideas, they get funded to develop that. They get funded as a second phase to develop a prototype, and then they get funded at a third phase to actually get into production. And there's a huge return on investment for the federal government and especially the DoD. It's a 21-to-1 return on investment in the DoD when you look at companies created, salaries created, taxes that are generated. So it's a super robust way to stimulate the innovation economy. And the Navy happens to have the largest SBIR program of all the federal government. As I mentioned before, grants and external funding to support the efforts. So if our community could come and secure an economic development agency grant to support the innovation efforts, that would be outstanding. There are other, philanthropic or state, programs that could help jumpstart the innovation economy in our region. Then success is achieving one of those federal regional designated, innovation institutes, as I mentioned. If we could become, the hub for data analytics or artificial intelligence, that would be, an outstanding opportunity, and I think would really help put us on the map. Success is those new companies are established and they're thriving in our region. So they're creating those high wage jobs, you're generating equity and allowing these innovative upstart companies create new knowledge, new advances that we can both incorporate into the military, but also be commercialized for our society. And then it's ultimately that technology that does get transitioned to the military and then is commercialized out in the private sector, because that's going to really elevate our standard of living, generate, save commute time out of our region. So we get more time with our families, less time stuck in traffic, and then just growing our whole economic base. And so with that, would like to open it up for any questions. And Mike, do I need to stop sharing so you can take back?
No, you can leave it up for the question and answer bit. So I do encourage you, no need to put them in the chat. I know we've had a couple of questions that have come through the private chat as Troy was presenting there. But if you have a direct question for Troy, feel free to just jump in and go ahead and ask it.
Please.
I had a private one come in, Troy.
Okay.
Somebody was wondering, how can the local business community or veteran and spouse-owned businesses connect and work with the Tech Bridge? Like, what's the best way to?
Certainly. So they can get us at agility@navy.mil. That's our Naval email box. So that's agility@navy.mil. You can also connect with us through the navy.mil/agility. And then there's another site called where if you're a technology company, we've got a tool where you can log in, add your profile, add your technical capabilities, so that we can all across the Tech Bridge network can see that. And as we are trying to scout for new technology that we need, you'll be in there. And that's navalx.navy.mil. And it's still in development. So we certainly welcome your feedback on it. It's a commercial tool that we are adapting, as other companies may have are familiar with that kind of customer relations management capability. And then there was another question on the K-12 connection. So as a Naval Command, we have been heavily involved in K-12 outreach for decades. As I mentioned, the Science and Technology Education Partnership, which I co-founded in my prior career to the Navy 20 years ago. The Naval Surface Warfare Center has a formal partnership with them, and so we provide opportunities for their students. We provide technology exhibits at the STEP conference, which because we were virtual this year, we were able to reach 22,000 students. And then certainly work with the Riverside County Office of Education, and that's going to be across both counties. And certainly the STEP organization is by county, so we're connected that way. But we also have some really internship opportunities, a Navy program called the Science and Engineering Apprenticeship Program, SEAP, that provide, as long as you're 16 years old, and up to 18 while you're still in high school, it's a paid summer internship. So we have a K-12 STEM coordinator. Her name is Karen Miles, and so she leads that for our command. and reaches out with all the local area schools. And but again, if you want to get connected with me, say if you haven't heard about those programs yet, you can reach me. My email, I can put it in the chat, or maybe Hinder could do that for me. So it's troy.clarke@navy.mil. Be glad to get you connected with Karen. We'd love to do that. This week is engineering week, so we're celebrating that, and it's always a good opportunity to showcase science and engineering for our nation. We've got actually some robotic programs where you can remotely pilot rovers and spherical robots that roll around. So she's got those programs, and definitely would love to connect with you on that. And one of the things to think about the whole innovation ecosystem, it's not only the academia and the R&D facilities. That's one element, but you have the business community, but you also have the K-12 and the academic pipeline, because that's the talent that you're going to need to staff these companies or be the entrepreneurs and the startups themselves. So it's that full continuum. And Tech Bridges, fortunately, so the Tech Bridges where we're aligned administratively within the Navy, we're part of the Office of Naval Research, even though we report directly to the Navy's acquisition chief. But the ONR, Office of Naval Research, is provides the funding for us, but they also administer the K-12 outreach funding for the Navy. So we are closely aligned with the Navy's STEM outreach and K-12 outreach, and even the academic, baccalaureate and graduate degree programs as well. And there's loads of scholarship opportunities and internship opportunities, both within the Navy and DoD. Okay, so data analytics. All right, so because we gauge the Navy's performance and readiness, essentially kind of evaluating them like the road and track or the consumer reports as we're developing and testing weapon systems, we're at the crossroads of a lot of the Navy's data. So we maintain the database of all the Navy's maintenance needs. We've been doing that for more than 40 years. So as a result, when you have a lot of that data, you know how to clean that to make sure it's accurate and filtering out the noise. We've been automating a lot of those processes to really free up our analysts' time, so they can develop some deep insights. And then now we're using, beginning to use artificial intelligence and machine learning to really accelerate what the human would do. And so, a key part of data analytics is really visualizing data. So we've developed those data dashboards for our Navy leadership that are managing the fleet. So we're really a leader in the data analytics space for the Navy. And did that address your question? I hope, Miguel. Yes, okay. Great. And we work closely with UC Riverside and actually developed a data science program with them. And we had some of the first scientists go through that program as our employees. But really, and we're connected with the Navy's Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. I'm also working with the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center with DoD. It's called the JAKE, working with them on a prototype. What they're looking to do is really kind of streamline and accelerate the use and adoption of artificial intelligence within DoD. So we've got a potential project for our data analytics work that we're going to put out for competition for industry to build us an artificial intelligence prototype to help us do that. And then that should be coming late spring and probably like an early summer, late summer delivery on that. So it's going to really, we're one of two naval commands that we're selected to do that, one of two tech bridges. So we're thrilled about that and excited, and that's a recognition of our Warfare Center's work in data analytics.
That's amazing, Troy. And I want to thank you so much for just a wonderful presentation. I think we can probably all agree how exciting it is to have such a great asset and resource here locally. I mean, they're just a stone's throw up the 15 freeway there. And I cannot agree with you any more that this digital connectivity has saved us all a lot of time and commute, and is frankly made better at connecting on an over bigger space, which I think will only help our efforts tremendously, which is wonderful. So once again, if you wonderful folks could help me celebrate Troy Clarke of your Tech Bridge in Corona.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I want to make sure we use the last half of our time here to hear from our wonderful folks here. So if you could go ahead and switch back to the gallery view, so we have an opportunity to have a more of a collective conversation. Most importantly, I know there's a lot of great endeavors happening here locally that I'd love to hear more about, and see if maybe there's an opportunity as a collective to work together more. Because being the convener is the truest mission of this Military Affairs Committee. So, just to kind of to kick it off, Hildur, I know Milvet is always doing lots of good. What's going on at Milvet? Is there any programming that maybe we should be aware of that some of the wonderful folks here on the call that can potentially help with?
You mean Raven, right? You said Hildur.
I am so sorry. I'm so in tune with our partnership here, and I've been talking with you the whole time. Raven, please forgive me. Is there anything that maybe we can help with as a group?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, what a great presentation from Troy. Amazing stuff. Yeah, Milvet has been busier than ever. We're still doing our monthly military care packages. And then we also have our veteran fitness and rehabilitation program that we do with Progressive Health and Performance here in Marietta, and also assisting our veterans in the community. So I think what we're doing is right now we're kind of focusing on our upcoming military care package events. So I'd like to talk to you guys further maybe about planning a couple of months there at the Innovation Center, which would be awesome. And if anybody else wants to get involved, we like to invite the community. Of course, it's been, a little bit smaller than usual. We usually have a very large group that helps us out, but with, things going on in the world, we're, being socially distanced and safe, and we've been outdoors. But as things open back up, I'd like to kind of get those going again. So if anybody would like to help out, milvet.org, or you can reach me personally at ceo@milvet.org.
Thank you, Raven. And if you have a chance, make sure you drop that information there in the chat. That seems to be the best way for a post connection. And I offer the same opportunity to anyone here with the call here. There is a stellar powerhouse of folks here. So please take us away.
Thank you, Mike.
No worries, Raven. I know we're joined by from Jason Polite. I don't mean to put you on the spot there, brother, but I know you have a stellar organization. I believe actually even Maurice had connected us. Maybe tell us about how we can start applying some of your wonderful programming here in the Southwest Riverside County region.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So again, I work at the Resilience Building Leader Program, and I'll drop the link in the chat, but what we are is the credentialing body for a series of leadership certifications that it's funded through the DoD COOL program for folks that are still on active duty or in the reserve component. We are working this year to submit a package for the utilization of the GI Bill as well. What our program does, there's 3 different levels of certification, one for frontline supervisors, one for middle managers, which we call coaches, and then one for senior leaders that we call trainers. The entire intent and the premise behind the program is the idea that we are to create a collectively resilient team inside the workplace. It was founded by a retired Marine officer. He got out in 2007, I believe, went back to school at Pepperdine, got his PhD. His study was on collective resilience, which I think those of us, obviously being mostly veterans, we can all relate to that, those tight-knit groups, the cohesion within the organizations that we've been in. He went into a Fortune 200 company, stayed some time in corporate America, and realized that team feeling was just missing. So he went back to the drawing board, pulled off his research, and created these programs. And we've been building for the past 3 years. So we're on all of the DoD cool websites. We've got numerous organizations that fund our program for folks working there. And now our next step is working with the folks in DC to get GI Bill approval. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll drop my my contact info in the chat if anybody wants to have a continued conversation about it.
Thank you, Jason. I absolutely appreciate you. And I'd also encourage all of the folks on the call today that before you go, and I'll give it some time there, before you go, make sure to download the chat there because there's always great opportunities for connection. And if you have not already, make sure you put your information on there if you wish to connect better with the Military Affairs Committee. Moving forward here too, I'll make sure to take light of or take sight of the folks that are with us today. And ultimately make sure that the attendees are sent out to our Military Affairs Committee. So, Jason, it's great to have you here. And with the minimal time we have left, I see that we have Merlene also with Calvet. Merlene, is there anything going on with Calvet that should be on our radar that maybe some of the wonderful leaders here can help get the word out for?
There are so many programs that Calvet does. Our webinar base, especially for our CalTap team, it's amazing. Like today, I came in late because I was doing another webinar where I was presenting for the Riverside Community College District. So they have a 3-district series, and there's so much information. Like today was maximizing the education benefits for veterans, but there is recorded archives. So you're more than welcome to take a look at our archive links on our website, and I'll go ahead and leave that in the chat.
Thank you, Merlene. It means the world to me. And that's again, the big function here is we want to make sure that those things are on the radar because frankly, one of the things we do best here is you have a lot of community leaders that can help get that messaging out and be most effective in that sense. So thank you as always for joining us. Hildur, I know we've had some great success with the Hiring Our Heroes program post the hiring panel. Once again, thank you so very much, Sergio, for being such a stud and being one of our panelists. Hildur, I know we've made quite a few connections. Do you want to update us a little bit more about how we've been implementing the Hiring Our Heroes program here locally?
Sure, yeah. Through the campaign that we ran throughout January, which we called Bring in the Troops, we were kind of trying to highlight the local employers' awareness of hiring both military veterans and spouses. And we made a great connection with Lauren Ramos down in San Diego. She is the program manager for the Military Spouse Fellowship Program. And that is run through Hiring Our Heroes, which is a U.S. Chamber Foundation program. And we are starting to connect her with some employers up here in our valley up here in an effort to try to get some military spouses hired and get them fellowships with local companies so that they don't have to commute, seeing as most active duty service members that are up here have to commute either to Pendleton or San Diego. We really want to bring awareness to our local employers and have them take part in these programs and consider hiring military veterans and spouses through those programs. So if you are looking for someone or know about a company or an employer that is looking to hire somebody, we are more than happy to connect you with Lauren, and she can take you through the process. It's actually super easy for companies to apply and to participate in it. And it's absolutely no cost. You pretty much get 6 weeks free or paid for an employee through it. So definitely recommend that through Lauren with Hiring Our Heroes.
Thank you so very much, Hilder. It's really been an honor to work with you on that. And it makes me feel real good because I know when we initially connected with Pat Keplinger from Pendleton there, he was very adamant about that being a big focus for him internally, that we want to make sure, especially in the spouse realm, that we're taking care of those folks there. So round of applause for you in all that you've done. You've definitely deserved it, and I appreciate you. So on that note, we are 3 minutes out from our 1 o'clock time here. I want to encourage you all once again to go ahead and download the chat with our final minutes here. Connectivity is the thing that we do best. And, I just want to say that, seeing that I also work for the Murrieta-Wildomar Chamber of Commerce, it's given us a really good opportunity to be a great convener of these great resources to our local business community. And I want to say we've made 10 plus connections already. Actually, Greg Thomas with Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District is one of those folks. So I salute you all for your leadership. I think you're all fantastic. And then also, speaking of Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, I would also like to once again thank our military supporters that have really given us an opportunity to kind of expand on this wonderful idea of bringing these resources north from San Diego and south from Greater Riverside to best serve our thriving military community here. And once again, that's Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, Modern Lending, Temecula Valley Hospital, and State Farm Julino. So next week will be, or next month, I wish it was next week. I love working with military. Next month, we will be hearing from Maurice Wilson from the San Diego Veterans Coalition and 1,000,000,001 other organizations. I literally think he is the most busy person I've ever met in my entire life. He has a lot of really great digital assets that are really taking the transition specifically experience to the digital world to make sure that they get the consistent help that they need after you transition through the gates there. So I do encourage you to check that out next month. But most importantly, once again, keep that in mind. As we come together here every month, our goal is to bring programming that you are working on to help our better help our local military community to light, and as a team attack and disseminate into the community. So with that, I wish you all the best day. I'll see you next month.